Hello, fellowship listeners. Adam Hawk here for my friends at Howie's Market, a proud sponsor of this very podcast. Howie's Market is a family-owned and operated specialty grocery store located in the San Gabriel Valley. Howie's Market offers the finest wine, spirits, craft beer, freshest produce, full-service deli, old school butchers offering a wide selection of the best meats. And they were voted, to no one's surprise, the best butcher by Los Angeles Magazine. They barbecue every weekend, rain or shine. They offer whole tri-tip sandwiches, half chickens, a variety of sausages, and the best all beef hot dogs. I love this place. I love the owners. I love the staff. I love the aesthetics. And I love making time to get up to Howie's Market. Howie's Market is at 6580 North San Gabriel Boulevard in San Gabriel, California. If you are nowhere near the joint and you know you're not going to make it, do us a solid. Give them a follow on Instagram. Show them that their support on this podcast is working. We appreciate it, and we'll see you at Howie's. Let it be known, especially the day after Easter, that the greatest putter in the history of the world was a carpenter from Nazareth. Because, ladies and gentlemen, nobody has ever rolled the rock quite like Jesus Christ on
Boy,
a
you
Sunday
could say that again.
in April. And with that wink and a nod to the resurrection, I say to you, welcome to the fellowship. My name is Adam Hawk. He is Ryan, the Earthquake Engle.
Rumbling around.
If you listened last week, we had an earthquake during the taping of our show, right as I was wishing career-ending injuries on golfers who used long lab putters.
Wow, the broomsticks have spoken. By the way, I wonder what our old pal Jesus actually did. Do you think it was like a Jedi thing where he was just like, he just moved the rock, like, get out, okay, enough of this? Because,
You're talking about the stone in front of his
yes.
tomb?
So, God in the flesh, he knew it was all going to happen. It happens. He goes through it. It's all just brutal and unimaginable, right? But it's like, he's like, okay, this is what it's going to take. And then finally, it's like, okay, put me to rest in this thing. Everyone go to bed. And now finally, I'm just going to be like, God power. It's just, he had to go through it for the lesson, and come back. And they still asked to see the holes in his hands. Unbelievable story.
Unbelievable story. But yeah, we did talk about long lab putters and career-ending injuries, and we caught a real earthquake on tape. Incredible timing, and a lot of people think that was a clear sign that you and I should stop ripping people who use long putters.
That is not going to happen. We'll never release this arm lock. If you know what I'm saying.
That was a great joke.
There you go.
I don't think a lot of people are going to get it, but it was great.
Yeah.
I think the earthquake was just a mob of people like Lucas Glover and Will Zalatoris and Jordan Dixon and J.J. Spahn and Adam Scott getting all huffy-puffy marching towards our studios, ready to defend putter heads shaped like clover leaves.
Yeah. You guys all know where I stand on this stuff. There's a lot of things that need to be changed, in my opinion.
The best part of the earthquake happening while we were taping is that we got it on tape, and that is a broadcasting Moby Dick. To be on the air when an earthquake is happening is a very cool and rare thing to catch live, and as someone that worked in broadcasting for a long time, I've seen plenty of YouTube videos of anchors on the local news experiencing an earthquake, radio show hosts experiencing an earthquake, and you and me got one, and I don't know if you'll fully be able to appreciate it. It's kind of like someone going out and playing golf, and in their first couple of rounds, they make an ace, and you're like, do you understand how rare this is that you just made a hole-in-one? And they're like, no, I don't.
Well, it's not that rare anymore. I mean, everyone's got a freaking podcast, so I think the chances are higher nowadays.
You're probably right.
But I like the fact that you had another opportunity for a humble brag. I like that. It's good to be prideful.
No, it's not.
There's power in that.
There's no power in pride.
Well, you keep showing it.
Pride comes before, fill in the blank, pride comes before.
It seems to me.
Pride comes before.
It seems to me.
The fall.
It seems to me that you've been bringing up your past profession a lot lately, broadcast, radio.
No.
We all know you're the pro.
Nope.
And I'm not.
Nope.
You're handsome. I'm ugly. You're smart. I'm dumb.
Good. As long as you're willing to admit that.
I'm stupid. You're smart. I was wrong. You were right. You're the best. I'm the worst. You're very good looking. I'm not attractive.
All right. As long as you're willing to admit that.
That's a great underrated part.
It
in the
really
movie.
is.
Yeah. I am only bringing up my past
We know, dude.
lately because it gives context to things that are happening. It gave context to why I melted down and took a break, and it gave context to why I think catching an earthquake on tape is cool.
And next week, you'll find another way to bring the context back to the show.
You know what? Because I'm incredibly insecure and self-conscious, I will never bring it up again.
Dude, I like the fact that you keep reminding me that you're, one of the best broadcasters that I know.
I've never said I'm one of the best. I just said that I've worked.
I said that was a compliment, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Well, I don't know that many either, but,
Yeah.
I've met Beto Duran.
I cannot believe you remembered his name.
Yeah, I've met...
I love
I've
Beto.
met Jim Hill. Horrible broadcaster, Jim Hill.
Okay.
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 Nice guy. But that guy's... he's in Chick Hearn in the later of his years, and Chick Hearn's my hero, by the way, one of them. And, it's tough. He's old. He started stumbling stuff, and Stu would pick up the slack and stuff. Jim Hill's been stumbling for 15 years, But God bless the guy.
Absolutely. And God bless Beto Duran.
And you know what? I don't want people to take that the wrong way. That's not me taking a dig at those guys. I just said Chick Hearn was my hero. I am all for spots being earned and letting it be. Letting those guys have it till they want to. I like that. Big gatekeeper.
You are. Yeah. Sure.
Like Jim Hill might be not as good as he once was. Still deserves to be there.
Does he?
Do you?
What?
Huh? God, we need you, band, so bad.
Yeah, we do.
He texted me on the way here. Get water, get coffee. We have neither. We suck.
Fucking thing sucks.
Yep.
I had one cup this morning, and I am not happy.
I've had 0 cups, and I'm exhausted.
Dude.
What a weekend. And speaking of that weekend, I want to ask you, how was your Easter weekend?
It was great. What a wonderful question. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
No, it was good. We've got a couple big weeks for the Engle family, and
Coming up.
yes, and a lot of prep. But Easter was nice. Palmer got to go to 2 Easter egg hunts. We do one at my mom's park in the neighborhood I grew up in, and they call it an Easter egg hunt, but they have these big circles in the grass taped off with just eggs all over the ground, and it's like 3, 2, 1, carnage. It's just the dumbest thing ever. But
Can I pause you right there?
yeah,
I completely co-sign
what is that
on this take.
That's not a hunt.
That's the opposite of a hunt. That's a gather.
That's a fish farm.
That is the equivalent of running under a piñata after it explodes.
Exactly.
There's no hunt.
But the great part about that on Saturday morning was an old friend that I grew up with in my neighborhood. She just had her first son about a year after Palmer, and I don't get to see her much. Her and her family were there, and it was really good to embrace some people from the past in the neighborhood and good dear old friends, and so that was really cool, and both of our kids got to play together, and that made it worth it. But outside of that, it was quite ridiculous. Yeah. When I was growing up, it was just like you wake up and it's like, oh, Ryan, I think the Easter Bunny came, and you go in the backyard and Mom and Dad hid him places, and you had to go find them. Like they were in obscure places, like up in the palm tree and over here behind the bush. Remember, weeks later, you'd find a rogue one.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, is this candy still good? You know, those days are over. Everyone's just like, all right, put it in a circle and go grab the trash off the ground, kids. Ridiculous.
You nailed it. Anything else from your Easter weekend that stands out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the service was the highlight. Actually, the service was the highlight, but the Sunday dinner with the family was Katie Kai's parents. The whole thing in Hawaii is food. Like, it's ohana, but what do you do as a family? What's the thing? It's like the homestead, having people over, the togetherness of all that, and what brings humans together. It's preparing a big meal and sharing, and they're just huge on that. So whenever it's a special occasion, it's all hands on deck. We do a full spread. Everyone's cooking, getting a little grumpy in the kitchen, bumping into each other, but at the end, it's all good, and the dinner was great. But we had a great service at our church. There was another Easter egg hunt, so Palmer got the double dip, so she was stoked on that.
Love a double dip.
But great message. Yeah, it's just more of those things that keep reminding you that you're on the right path, the right direction. And obviously this is a big one. I'm kind of leaning just where I am in my faith. I think Easter might be better than Christmas.
Ooh. Oh.
Less BS, less corporate buildup, no pressure of the gifts, but the resurrection's way cooler than the birth. I mean, yeah, homie was born and the guys came over and like the star, you know, and they had they believed he was the Messiah, but man, the resurrection's, if you're going to make the movie, isn't Easter the best part? It's just my opinion, folks. But anyways, we had a great Easter. I spent all day Sunday, just like my homeboy, the carpenter, doing carpentry. And I'm building the scoreboard for the powwow. And I was outside in the yard and in the front yard, just cutting wood, putting posts together. It was a great day.
I'm really happy to hear it. And I don't know if what I just heard was incredible faith-based testifying, if it was total blasphemy, or if it was comedy, or if it was all three all at once.
It was the real deal, McCoy. Yeah.
You know, the homie was born, the star, the thing.
Well, no, I'm
no, I know.
Cliff Notes, my man.
And we love the Cliff Notes.
Do you want me to get into it? This isn't a sermon.
No, it's not, but I do appreciate your walk and everything that you just said. I really do. And I kind of want to stay on the Easter versus Christmas thing for a moment.
Yeah, let me have it. I mean, Easter's...
I'm starting to agree with you.
Dude, this is where I came up with this thought this weekend, was that the message at church for Easter, it just kind of dawned on me this year that this is way more powerful. This is what it takes to believe. This is it. We got to the punchline, folks. You know what I mean? I walked away going like, dude, Easter just climbed up the leaderboard.
Easter's great. I wish Easter was a season similar to Christmas. This is where I think Christmas is fantastic. You have the music, you have the lights.
100%.
It lasts the season.
It's hard to compete with that.
Yeah, and also after Christmas, the day after Christmas, the corporate American work world still gives you like a week off.
That's true. Easter gets no respect.
None. And while I was completely out of my mind exhausted last night, it dawned on me I'm going to work tomorrow.
Yeah, that sucks.
But I love this take, and I want to explore it a little more. Maybe when we get to Christmas and see how it holds up.
The Christmas, if you're gonna compare seasons, Christmas, you can't beat it.
And I can hear Craig Dunlap listening right now saying there is a season to Easter. It is the season of Lent.
It's true, but let's stay on track here. If we're going to compare messages, I think the Easter message, landslide victory.
I think they're like kids. You can't have a favorite. They're both great.
They're both great, but you
one's
kind of like the better one more. Let's be honest. We're imperfect people, and they're our favorites.
Welcome back to First Take with Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. Today we're giving our top 5 Christian holidays. Best Easter weekend of my life. Absolutely loved it. but I am just gassed. And don't get me wrong, I would do it all over again, but I am spent. And you know how people used to say when they were dog tired that they were taxed? I'm now changing it to be more dramatic and more damning. I'm tariffed. I am absolutely tariffed.
So
right
it's an
now.
international feeling of,
It's just
of tiredness.
if taxes are bad, what are tariffs?
Why? What? Tariffs. What a horrible idea. I mean, taxes in general are a horrible idea. We started this country off of what, like a 3% tea tax or something like that. And look, here we are, giving half of our paychecks away.
And drinking coffee.
Unbelievable. Yeah, who drinks tea, dude?
Come on.
You drink tea when you're so desperately wanting to get better because you're sick.
Yep.
And you're like, I'll do anything. I'll even drink these
Leaves in a
dried
bag.
botanicals in a bag that's been in my cupboard for 7 years, thinking that, like, oh, heat this up. I'm sure this will make you feel better. What a crock of shit. You know what make you feel better? Just rip a freaking espresso,
Yeah.
put some whole milk in it,
Yep.
and just turn that snot green, and then a week later you'll be good.
Yep. No, you nailed it.
Hock a loogie, bud.
There you go. I have a friend named Grace Smith who can't drink tea when she's not sick because she just associates it with that's
Being
what
sick.
you drink
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're sick.
That makes sense.
It does. And ever since she put that in my
Tea
mind.
sucks.
And also tea just does not stand a fighting chance as long as coffee is around.
Yeah.
Tea is Phil Mickelson, coffee is Tiger Woods.
Tea is like wanting a canned Silver Bullet Diet Coke and having to have a fountain Taco Bell Pepsi.
amazing.
You're just like,
Amazing.
oh, really? I really want this taste. I want to be naughty right now. I need to check this Vice box, and I'm going to do it with the most discount BS version of it I can find.
You know when a pitcher is 7 innings into a no-no or a perfect game and you're
Yeah.
not supposed to talk to him?
Yeah.
You're currently throwing an equivalent of a podcast perfect game. A
Yeah.
lot of great takes.
A
coming
lot
out
of
here,
great takes.
And I don't want to.
You just talked about it.
I talked about
Yeah.
it. So
Good-
good
good
luck.
call.
Good luck finishing and landing this plane. We're rooting for you, pal. Starting to get wobbly in the air here, folks. Got a couple of
That'll be
runs on-
bleeped out.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. When are we going to start our Patreon of all my bleeps?
I don't know.
Maybe we could actually make some money for once.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Now, despite the fact that I am extremely tariffed from the weekend, I am also extremely fulfilled. Engle, my cup overfloweth. On Friday, you and I met up at the friendly confines of Nation Golf. We did some work on the Nation Desert Classic, and then we went our separate ways, as we are wont to do on the weekends. I went to Good Friday service that evening, quite moving, if I do say so, and then a vegetarian dinner with my family.
Can't you have fish?
Maybe.
Maybe. I thought it's just red meat.
Maybe.
Maybe. So you could have chicken?
Maybe.
Maybe. Little pollo asada. Oh, don't you usually have carne asada, sir? No, Lent. Good Friday, you know what I mean? Pollo asada.
Yeah, I didn't chance it. Just went for the vegetarian burrito.
Vegetarian burrito. What did it have in it? Broccoli?
No,
What did it have?
rice and beans and cheese and fake carne asada.
Tofu?
I don't know what it was. It wasn't good.
Yikes.
Very dry. On Saturday, we had a to-do list the length of a CVS receipt.
Which is long.
You ever go to CVS? You get a pack of Mentos and they print you out a scroll.
Here's 4 coupons you'll never use. What?
Don't trip on the receipt headed out those doors.
My gosh.
Then we had 2 trips to Target, a run to the grocery store, haircuts for the men of the family. I took the kids bike riding at the park just to give them a break from the errands, and I also had to make a stop at the FedEx Kinko's to print a 4-page document. I always make fun of people who have printers in their homes, just these gaudy, archaic plastic boxes that only work half the time and are only needed 4 times a year.
And the cartridges are more than the actual unit.
Exactly. But then I'm always the jerk dragging my family to a FedEx Kinko's to print something from Microsoft Word 97.
I'm surprised the FedEx Kinko things is still a thing.
It might not be called FedEx Kinkos. It might just be FedEx at this
It
point.
probably is, but
But there certainly are computers that you can go into, drop a credit card, get logged in, and then print your Microsoft Word attachment. And I did that. And the process took an incredibly long amount of time, and it cost me something like $15. What was I printing on the Saturday before Easter that I just had to have in hard copy form? My testimony that I had been asked to share on stage at both services at my church on Easter Sunday. Here's a somewhat fun fact. I had been asked to do this, to share at my church, over the phone as I was pulling into Northwoods Inn 2 Mondays ago to meet you, Katie Kai, Justin Jung, Thomas Wrighton, Lindsay Wrighton, Will the Thrill Schwarz, and Jordan Schwarz for our big official equity agreement contract signing.
are you trying to say here today is you didn't fish for that at all? It was just a blindside ask? Like, you didn't think you were going to get asked, or maybe you were fishing for it a little bit?
Did I go to the elders at the church and say, if you need somebody to share,
I don't know. You've been hanging out with the pastor guy a lot. I felt like maybe you fished for it a little bit. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't know.
You're dead wrong.
Really?
100% dead wrong.
Maybe.
Maybe. You don't go fishing.
Maybe.
Maybe. What do you mean hanging out with the pastor guy a lot?
You guys are tight, right?
We met as coaches of our kids' soccer team.
Sounds pretty tight.
So we started first as friends.
Some would call that fishing a little bit.
Wow. Looks like you got a lot out of that message yesterday.
I'm just teasing. Relax, dude. My goodness. But you probably did fish a little bit.
I don't feel the need
I don't think you knew you were. I think you're programmed to fish a little bit.
Dude, shut the heck up. I don't feel the need to set the record straight, but I will. I did not fish remotely.
I know. I'm just having a little fun, folks.
Just having a little fun here, folks. Trying to have a little fun.
Just trying to have a little fun.
Back to the present day. I am an anxious person who is obsessed with prep, so I worked on the text in that presentation pretty hard. And I had multiple drafts because I had to keep cutting for time, which is fine because, folks, there's no greater editing than self-editing.
Ooh.
But I'm not going to lie. I was stone cold nervous for this.
Of course you were.
A lot of people in my life have broadcasting confused with public speaking. They are two completely different disciplines. You, Engle, are a very good public speaker. You're not bothered by the crowd.
I speak good.
You don't get the shortness of breath that makes it sound like you're crying when you're just speaking normal sentences. And you seem to thrive in front of people.
Thank you.
You're welcome. For me, I do my best work in a small setting like this, where it's just you and me and a couple of mics. What we are doing right now is not public speaking. There's no public around. The public might hear it later, but they didn't see it. I'm not delivering this live in front of a crowd. So two different things, public speaking and doing what we're doing right now. Also, this is Easter Sunday, folks. Engle alluded to it. This is the Super Bowl of church services. This is overflow parking lots, people standing in the plaza watching on TV because they couldn't get a seat. This is sold out crowd kind of real estate here. It's also the day that the entire faith is based around. Who am I to share on Easter Sunday?
I'm just one man.
Just one man who apparently fished for the opportunity.
And spent a weekend dragging his family places again. Big dragger.
Who am I to share on Easter Sunday? I was taking communion with a zin in my mouth a few months ago. Lest you forget.
Was that in your speech?
No. It was in my mouth.
Upper decker?
But look, God has a plan. He uses people for reasons beyond our understanding. And really, one of the biggest reasons for testimonies is so the congregation can hear from someone more relatable than a pastor or a staff member. Anyway, I got to church early before the first service, and everything I had committed to memory and felt pretty good about started to move to a part of my brain where I couldn't access it. Because I started feeling that the moment was coming, and that's what I was thinking about, and those 1,200 words that I had almost memorized were just disappearing like sand through my fingers. Now, I want to be clear about something because it's important to make this point. Sharing my story to my church, it's not about me. It's not about my process or how I felt doing it or any attaboys I got afterwards. It's not about any of that. It's about helping other people relate and connect. It's supposed to be selfless and humble. But for this podcast and this audience, we are inherently selfish. We talk about ourselves. That's the entire show, what we did and how we feel about things we saw. So that's why I'm doing some behind-the-scenes talk here. The actual testimony and the purpose of it, that's for another podcast, which I might actually do as a bonus later this week while you're out at the powwow.
You sure you're not going to call your buddy in?
John Wayne Freeman?
Ryan freaking Engle.
Boy, that would really give you a case of the red ass, wouldn't it?
Oh, no, I just think it's funny. That's your well.
My well.
That's your well.
One time, John Wayne Freeman.
Maybe. I love John, by the way. This is not a knock at John. This is a knock at you.
I clearly love John.
Yeah. How's he doing, by the way? I haven't been on social media. Is he still?
It's great.
Yeah.
And John, actually, during our Masters recap podcast last week,
Right.
he pulled off of the highway while listening, pulled out his phone, and gave us a 60-second ringing endorsement on his social media saying, this podcast is so good, and these two guys have gotten so good at it, you have to stop what you're doing and listen.
Wow. What a guy.
Yeah. Now, should I call him and tell him that he's not welcome here anymore in your absence?
No. I'm making fun of the fact that I think you wish he was sitting across from you all the time
Bollocks.
rather than me.
Absolute bollocks.
That's okay. I can be second fiddle to your little well.
I sat alone in the front row of the early service, which is a pretty funny visual. My wife and kids weren't coming until the later service, but there were a few empty seats.
Oh, so you did the first one solo?
Yeah.
Was that your choice or theirs?
Theirs. They asked me to do 2 services, but
No. Your family's choice. Was it your family's choice to miss on option 1 and just come to option 2?
We had discussed as a family, there's no point in you guys being at both services.
Okay.
Just a question.
And just an answer.
Yeah. Moving right along.
Yeah. So I'm alone in the front row. Pretty funny visual at that first service. There were a few empty seats on both sides of me, and
Well, your church has empty seats?
don't get it twisted. The place was packed.
I'm just kidding.
But just like school, people always avoid the front row,
Oh, yeah.
myself included.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's usually where you guys go. Testimony guy. You know what I mean? It's like reserved for testimony guy. Testimony guy right here. Don't sit next to him. You'll make him nervous.
I was more nervous sitting alone.
Yeah, well, they do that on purpose.
No, there's no intention. They're not icing me out. Hey, we really want
Maybe.
to isolate
Maybe.
this guy. Yeah. No, that's not how it went at all.
It's kind of like an unspoken rule. It's like, stay away from that guy. He's going up there. You don't want to screw this up.
Not true at all, but thank you for your wonderful presumptions.
No, I'm just, yeah.
Yeah, just trying to have a little fun here, folks. But I sat there because obviously it's easier to get on and off the stage. And when it was my time and I walked up there and looked out, holy smokes, a lot of faces. Now, luckily, I found some people that I knew in different parts of the room. So I used them as anchor points and kept coming back to them with my eyes because seeing people...
So you played favorites.
I'm so glad I'm recapping this with you.
Well, you did say you weren't good at public speaking, so...
And I'm not.
Yeah.
What I wanted to do was find people at different parts in the room that I could just keep bouncing back and forth because I was more comfortable seeing people that I knew as I was speaking.
So it's kind of like a political speech where they look at the same, 4 people.
Yeah, there's a method to the madness, I think.
Yeah.
And
I get what you're saying. Clearly.
Do you use anchor points in the crowd when you're speaking?
Do you think my mind is capable of having a premeditated thought and a function of repetition to stay on point with anything?
Sometimes I wish it was.
Well, I'm just one man.
The only thing that I did not want to have happen while I was speaking was a shortness of breath from being nervous and then every word sounding shaky. That's the worst.
Did you have your Apple Watch on?
No, I did not. I had my fake gold Casio digital.
I was just wondering what your
Heart rate was?
yeah.
Yeah. Me too. Now, I avoided the shaky voice syndrome, and it went well, but then guess what? I had to do it a second time.
Which one was harder?
The second one.
Really?
Yes, which I thought would have been the opposite when I was planning for this.
Because of the family was there?
No, not because the family was there, but because I am so self-conscious that there was going to be people in the room who had already heard it before.
Right.
And that there was going to be repetition and certain parts in the testimony that choked me up the first time. And I thought to myself, I hope that it doesn't choke me up in the same spots the second time, because I don't want people to get fraud vibes. Like, how can he make himself cry twice at the same spot?
Which, you cried?
Choked up.
Which,
yes.
which version got on YouTube?
Both. They stream both services.
Oh. So now everyone can watch it twice.
I mean,
Maybe we should recap it and see which one was better.
we're not going to do that. This is not about that. Actually playing the testimony and talking about it, potentially another episode. One that will be a solo episode.
Oh, I'm talking me and you watch it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm one of them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, right? Isn't that the whole point? They had you up there?
Anyway, doing it a second time was more difficult. And also, this just in, a lot more people at the 10:30 than the 9.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. People sleep in.
They do. Anyway, ultimately, just a great day, a great service, emotionally and physically terrified. Ran home after the service, made some homemade guac, drove up to my in-laws, grilled up some carne asada, broke my 40-day fast, had a couple of beers and a Diet Coke.
How'd it feel?
Not as good as I wanted it to.
Really?
Really.
Really?
Was the guac bad? How do you make your guac? What's the ingredients?
Avocado, lime, pico.
Do you buy the store-bought pico and you just scoop it in?
Yes.
Nice. Homemade guac, huh?
Assembly guac. It's like IKEA guac.
Yeah.
I get the ingredients, I put them together.
Homemade. Yeah, you made it at home for sure.
Lime, salt,
Yeah.
and then
Good for you.
2 hours of refrigeration.
Good for you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Why'd you have to call me out on that? You couldn't just let me get past the guac part?
I had a feeling.
And then we did some carne asada, as mentioned, and the beers and the Diet Coke. But more the celebration of the day and breaking the fast felt good. But the actual beers, I had 2, gave me a headache.
Beers are time and place. Sometimes they're good, but they're budget. Beers are budget. Let's be honest here.
Let's be honest here.
Let's be honest. Very low on the totem pole. It's probably going to annoy a lot of people, but it's true. Beers are budget.
But here's the thing. Being that emotionally and physically taxed and tariffed from a nonstop weekend of errands and then having to gear up for what was happening on Sunday and then the actual message of Sunday and the celebration of Sunday all just hitting me, I didn't stand a chance of staying conscious. And I did one of the most embarrassing pass outs of my life. I was in a chair that was positioned pretty central to the small living room, dining room, kitchen area of my in-laws. And this chair, not a top dog chair, it's just a chair. No ottoman, no recline feature. Level of comfort on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 3.8.
Old cushion.
Yes. And I conked out in that chair.
The uncomfortable conk.
And to do it in front of people, it was as if I was on display.
Yeah.
And what's funny is you can hear little voices in your ear and around you.
But you're too unconscious to understand what they're saying.
Yes.
Sounds like the mom from the Peanuts.
Yes. Yeah. But I can catch little bits and pieces. Like I could hear my mother-in-law saying, "Don't wake him up."
Yeah.
But that's when you know that you're out. And so I woke up, I stood up, and I said, "Do you mind if we get out of here?" to my wife. Always a tough one. Mm-hmm. She loves her family and her family time. I love her family and family time.
You do now.
I always have.
Oh, okay.
But I am also the type of guy who...
likes my own time, too.
It's not that. But the pack up and the putting on the shoes and the getting out to the car, That's 20 minutes right there. The drive home is an hour. The unpack, the get everyone in, the get everyone's shoes off, the get the pajamas on, the dinner, the brushing of the teeth. We still have an entire part of this Sunday left to go. And I'm hanging on by a thread.
Right.
So can we please get this show on the road? Not because I don't like being here, but because here is not there, and there is home. We need to get home. So we got home. I will tell you right now, early in the morning, Monday, I have no idea.
What happened once you got home?
Yes, none.
Nice.
None. I know this. I woke up on the couch.
Wow.
So tired. This morning, I get here. I send you a text that says, can you please bring coffee and water?
Yeah.
And you show up and you look at your phone and go, sorry, didn't check my text.
Yeah, I'm trying to be present. Working on my presence.
Right. We need to blitz through these final topics.
Okay.
Are you back on social media?
Not yet.
Wow. Day 41 of the social media fast.
Yeah. I thought it was Friday was the 40th day.
I don't know.
Either way, I think I'm going to wait till powwow. So, see you Wednesday. Actually, I'm not nervous to open it up. I'm pretty, it just feels like it's going to be annoying. Like, you're going to open it up, you're going to see 7 million notifications, and probably thousands of people that unfollowed me, which is whatever, but it's like, I don't even want to, it's been so nice not dealing with it. God, I don't even want to frickin' deal with it.
I feel you. Ever since you left social media, I have had absolute jealousy that you have not had to use it at all. And I don't want to do it. And I'm jealous that you got to do this. And next year, I will be the person stepping away for 40 days.
Oh, really?
Really?
Your thoughts?
Thomas? Login coming your way, bud.
Thomas Wrighton?
You are the thumbs behind Nation Golf.
The Indian Wells member guest powwow is coming up. This is a tournament that I played in as your partner for 3 straight years. That will not be happening this year. Your partner is Matthew.
Womp, womp.
Your partner is Matthew Shadbolt. I will say this, no pressure as you go out as a first-year chairman. But what I am concerned about and what I will be keeping score on is you and I won our flight the last 2 years. If you and Shadbolt do anything less than winning your flight, I am the better partner.
Well, flight 1's a little harder than flight 3 or whatever the hell we were in.
You better win your flight.
Well, I do know this. He's not going to chunk every shot.
Neither did I. Don't get 2024 Hawk confused with 2022 Hawk.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
Are you excited to play with Shadbolt?
I am, actually. I think, look, love to have you back. Sad you're not going to be there. That being said, this year, with the position I have and everything I have riding on it, and the fact that it's kind of more of an behind-the-scene events kind of thing, as it is just me participating and enjoying it, kind of have the perfect partner. Shaddy's always been my right-hand man for the Desert Classic. He's a big events guy. He's the kind of guy that you don't need to ask to do the obvious. He sees it. Being a chairman in an event like this, having a partner like him is basically bringing an extension of myself. I feel like we play well together, so the competition portion is going to be fun, but he also knows when to turn it on and turn it off as far as the competitiveness. Like, if things aren't going our way, we can, kind of toss a few back and enjoy sucking a little bit as much as we can enjoy being on a little bit of a run. And ultimately, I think just sharing the week with him, I know he's always wanted to play in it, is going to be great. But he's also, he understands me a lot like you understand me. So, like, I feel like I have like a true partner in crime for it. So sad that the Hawkster's gonna break his streak and put a little run to an end, but really glad to have Shaddy on the bag, as they say in the business.
Absolutely. I think you guys will have a really good time. Now, whether or not I was going to attend the powwow this year would not have changed the fact that you and I would not have been able to have been partners.
That's true.
Folks, this is a member guest tournament. Members bring out a guest. It's a great way to show off the club. For the last 3 years, I was able to be that guest. But I have become a member of Indian Wells Country Club. I have officially joined
Does that mean they lowered the price?
the fun club of the desert.
I think they did, didn't they?
Ryan, I am not going to speak about price on the podcast, but I will tell you this.
Has it been lowered, yes or no?
I can tell you as somebody who knows about the young executive membership,
There's a deal to be made there.
there's a deal to be made, there's a deal to be had.
And you just love to hear that.
You really do, because I think our favorite part of being out there is bringing people out there. You brought me out in 2019, and ever since you and I linked up here at the business, bringing people out is the best part. And seeing more of our friends out there would be amazing. So this is a blatant call for our Southern California listeners to join us at Indian Wells Country Club. Country club memberships, I understand, have always felt unattainable. That is currently not the case at Indian Wells Country Club. Nothing about the quality of the club or the quality of the amenities or the quality of the golf has done anything but go up. But your attainability of getting behind the gates and getting to a place where people know your name and you're not fighting for a tee sheet and you're playing the highest quality desert golf, that has become more accessible than ever. And here's what we will say to you right now, folks. If this sounds like something you could potentially be interested in, you don't want to do this whole $150 for a crappy tee time in LA or Orange County, and you would rather just take a very pleasurable 90-minute drive out to the fun club of the desert and tell the guy at the gate your member number and come on back and peel some filet divots off of perennial rye, then do yourself a favor and click the link in the show notes. We have a link there that will take you straight to our page with Indian Wells, and it's about as low pressure as you could possibly get.
You got to love when a club puts in the effort to bolster what they call a young executive membership. It's basically their way of investing in the future. And look, a lot of people these days don't feel like, you said before, it's obtainable, maybe, or they haven't really learned or been taught enough about that lifestyle or the nuance of it. And big shout out to my boy Dana.
If you shout too loud, he might hear you.
That's true. He pointed this out. There's just something about hearing those boards on the bridge clatter when you come on over into the cove under those Santa Rosas tucked up against her, fountain going. You walk on up, and Mr. Windstrom just slides you in. You didn't have to get on some tea time lottery.
Do you have your player's card?
Yeah. Really excited to see there's definitely a wonderful youth brigade happening at the club. A lot of younger members and families and couples. It's good to know that they're looking to invest in the club's future. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And hopefully we can get you out there, because I know, driving long distances is a thing for you. We hear about it all the time, how much you complain about it. So,
well, there's a difference between driving to Nation Golf to be ridiculed and told I'm fishing for testimony opportunities than driving to Indian Wells Country Club to play 18 magnificent holes on the Classic or the Cove.
yeah, 36 holes.
They're both great.
Championship gaff.
Men's locker room, full bar and grill. Incredible. Go to the link in our show notes and find out how you can become a member, because, folks, for the last time, this is more attainable than it has ever been. Join Ryan and me at Indian Wells Country Club.
And tell them Adam Hawk sent you.
It would be fantastic to have you.
And maybe after golf, we can catch you in the back having a schwitz.
Welcome to the Schwitz.
We love to take the schwitz
Welcome to the Schwitz.
at Indian Wells Country Club. Amazing sauna and steam room situation there. Also, cold pool, warm pool.
Yep.
Wow.
Camera 1, camera 2.
You know when you're done playing golf and you're sweaty, you're gross, you're nasty,
Let's go get some pizza.
and you have to go straight from the 18th hole into your jalopy and get out of there, and then you come home and you're clanking your spikes with grass all over the place in your house, and you just look like a pile.
It's not tidy.
You sound like a pile. You feel like a pile.
Yeah, that's why your wife hates golf.
Right. But you finish up at Indian Wells Country Club, you go to your own locker, you pull out a towel, wrap it around your crank, and hit a cold pool, warm pool, sauna, steam room, and then splash on some aftershave after you take the hottest shower.
Freaking walking like a rooster through that men's locker room.
Yeah, that's right. And she'll be far less mad when you come back to the house looking and smelling like that.
Yep.
Link in the show notes. I so desperately want to get to YouTube comments because we have a lot of them and a lot of good ones. I am going to have to not do it.
Why? Let's just do that and close the show.
All right.
I love skipping some of the notes you put all that time and effort
I don't
into.
have any more notes. I have obligations to get to.
What?
A job? It's Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
Cousin Club says, Ryan, the Earthquake Engle, this must be his new nickname.
Love it.
You good with being the Earthquake?
Sure.
I love it too.
Yeah.
What do you want to go by for short? EQ, Quake, E-Quake, Englequake, or...
I'm going to have to think about that.
All right, think about it and get back to us because the Earthquake, while it's great, it's a mouthful.
Right.
Shout out to Bryce3153 who said, great podcast, gents. Loved the phone calls from Katie, Kai, and Ryan's mom after the earthquake.
Did you feel that?
Did you feel that earthquake?
I hope that was the only one we're having.
I'm kind of bummed I didn't feel it. Gosh dang it, that's so annoying.
Those were great.
That was funny.
Shop Focus says, carrot cake stinks. It's the unwanted option you would find at a retirement home or church.
It's funny how we've had way more positive takes on carrot cake than we had negative after that.
Way more.
Did you notice that?
Shop Focus, I will say, honestly, that the love for carrot cake has drowned out the disdain for it to a point where I have reconsidered trying carrot cake again because I must be wrong here. I'm a guy that likes most things. And if there's something that most people like and I don't like it, I'm probably wrong. I can probably learn to like it and appreciate it.
Oh, carrot cakes. It's just cake with shredded carrot in it. It's all moist. Like the carrot is just some stupid name. It's a moist cake with some cream cheese frosting. If you don't like that, I'll pray for your taste buds. End of story.
I love when people end great definitive statements with end of story.
End of story.
Many times you have done that and then continued the story.
Well, yeah.
Let's see what else we have in these YouTube comments.
YouTube.
Chris V sends, wow, someone send this episode to the Sports Emmy Vault. And folks, let me pause right there. He is speaking of our last episode. Someone send this episode to the Sports Emmy Vault. It's the rare day where I am 100% with Hawk. But this was the week. The influencer creep is real at Augusta, and carrot cake is best left for ladies who brunch. Your thoughts?
Okay.
Okay.
What are you more disturbed with, that he agrees with me on things or that he went after carrot
I
cake?
agreed with you.
Benton says, have to disagree with Ryan on the Masters. It was absolutely incredible. Sure, it wasn't the most masterful performance, but Rory made some amazing shots when he had to. And as Hawk so well put it, quote, it was the most schizophrenic round of golf I have ever seen.
Yeah, it was, which makes it fall way down the list in Masters lore.
Jim Benton continued, oh, and be careful around the warehouse. Earthquakes are known to produce an influx of cockroaches. The shaking can disrupt their hiding spots in cracks, crevices, or underground areas, forcing them out into the open.
Dude, remember when that one ran in your bag? That was the best thing that's ever happened.
I knew I shouldn't have read these comments. Should have just wrapped the show. Vapor79 said, had to come in and chime in. Fantastic wrap-up of the Masters. Totally agree that Augusta National membership needs to tighten it up. It feels like everything that Gen X discovers as exclusive or gatekept, they jump all over it and make it look like they are behind the ropes and VIPs for the gram. Attention, green jackets. Please, for the love of God, swing those cranks around more and keep the mystique. P.S. I agree with Hawk. This was a top-tier Masters. This felt like how mortals play golf. More often than not, it's about holding on to victory, playing your all, and praying for some shots to go your way. Our good pal Justin Holland, Mr. Justin Holland,
Yep.
out in the great state of
Texas.
He wrote that he has now thrown away his skip it hat after listening to our last episode.
Damn. Harsh toke. Hey, we all make mistakes.
Right.
Augusta's making them.
Yep. But can you learn from it? That's the question.
That's the question.
Donald K. writes in, those live golf outfits look like bad minor league baseball uniforms. I disagree. Minor league baseball uniforms are awesome. The live golf outfits suck.
Right.
Right.
I loved your take on Sergio's ketchup and mustard.
Thank you. Ketchup and neon mustard. Yeah. Folks, that is going to do it for us today.
That's going to do it.
Now, we were going to get to Justin Thomas and his amazing victory at the RBC Heritage, but then again, we weren't, so we will talk to you next Monday.
I don't need to watch skinny Homer Simpson win a golf tournament.